Greetings to all the fathers for this upcoming Father's Day. Very special day, and one that is being recognized more and more, because as fathers, some of us we have just not taken up our responsibility. But I don't want to start there. I want to start at the point where I have 3 beautiful children, adult children now, and I will say right up front I was not the perfect father, but I did what I could. And in conversations with them as adults, they have shared with me the things that I did well and the things that I did not do so well. And yes, I apologize to them for those things that I didn't do well. Advice as to be a father, being a father, you need to be a daddy. You need to be a daddy. And that requires work on ourselves as fathers and dads. And it is a challenging time. I don't know that anything is new under the sun, but what I do know is that there is more revelation, certainly spiritually. As a Christian, I truly believe that the Lord reveals things unto us. And so we're at a point where we're talking about men more and affording that opportunity to look at ourselves and understand who we are and work on ourselves. And it doesn't matter whether you're the dad of a newborn, youngster, teenager, an adult. And remember that your children will always be your children. It doesn't matter how old they become, they'll always be your children, and you must be that daddy that they can go to. But I think that understanding yourself and working on yourself, the data shows that about 70% of us men need work on ourselves, and it's understandable because it's life and we go through a lot of things socially, from the home to environmental and all the things that impact us right through school, adulthood, and working world. So once we do that work, which is continuous, I think we'll make better fathers and better dads. And so on this upcoming Father's Day, I want to let you know that it's all right. Coming from somebody who was able to successfully raise 3 kids who are now working and doing well, it is going to be okay. And for those of you who are grounded in the Lord, look to Him for guidance. And He will show you the way, and He will put the people around you to help you. So I want to say, a happy and a God-blessed Father's Day to all the fathers, wherever you are, and enjoy the day. Today is your day. If you want to eat ice cream, KFC, you like a nice steak and some red wine, whatever it is, enjoy it, and just enjoy the time with your family. For those of us who are fortunate to have family around us, and for those of us who don't have our family for whatever reason, know that there's always hope and there's always restitution, and live in that hope. So all the very best. Have a great Father's Day.
So Cyrus, it's really good to have you, and it is good for us to be talking today about Father's Day.
Oh yes.
And one of the things I heard you say was that as fathers, we didn't get it right completely. Sometimes we did good, sometimes we didn't do so good.
Right.
Yeah. You have 3 children, I have 3 children myself. So you spoke about restitution. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I think in terms of restitution, it could be during the process of growing your kids, or if there's estrangement, there's the opportunity for restitution. Because we know for different reasons, fathers are not with their kids all the time, sometimes never, depending on what happens. But there's always a way, and we know that there's so many varied reasons. Life isn't linear,
right?
And so you need to live in the hope that there'll be forgiveness and restitution.
Is it on both sides?
On both sides.
Your kids might have to ask your kids to forgive you for some of the things that didn't go exactly how you planned it.
Exactly. And for you to examine yourself, and also to ask for forgiveness, where you recognize that you need to forgive.
Right.
Because that's a very, very important thing. That does, forgiveness is healing.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think restitution also in terms of becoming whole, you know, and kind of figuring out those things that will make you a better person, a better man, and a better dad.
As we get older and our children are now all adults, restitution may be different from when we were younger, and we could just say, "I'm sorry," and you know, that's it. But it takes work now as you get older.
Yeah, I think even to when we are younger too, it has to be genuine. It has to be authentic. As we get older now, we're now speaking to our children as adults. It's an adult to adult.
Right.
Some people will tell you that they even move into more like a brother and a sister phase with their children.
Yeah.
You know, and so it has to be genuine and authentic conversations. And children are looking for the truth at all ages.
Right.
And even more so as adults, where you felt when they were younger, you couldn't have this kind of conversation, but now is the time.
Right.
And that's what I have done is I've had lunch and dinners one-on-one with my kids, as I mentioned earlier on, just have these conversations and be open. Now, it's okay for you to say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable discussing this topic right now.
I like that because I've had to say that sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's not that you're going to just bare your chest and feel forced to say everything.
Right.
But it is important to say the things that matter in that moment and the things that they're looking for an answer that you can provide. And if you can't, just say, no, give me some time, let me just think about it. And we can always regroup. Because it's ongoing, right? It's ongoing.
You and I became fathers at a younger age. And even when we're becoming fathers, we were still having the party days.
Right.
And, you know, as young people, not because you became a dad, that doesn't mean that you had given up all of your youth.
Right.
Yes, we admitted that we were dads. We were still, you know, living the party
What's
life
that
to some extent, transitioning. And so in that process, we were raising kids, many of us are young people ourselves. Right?
Yes. And therein lies sometimes too the things when we reflect we could have done differently, you know? And not to stray, but as parents too, sometimes we lose ourselves in growing the kids and, you know, paying the bills and the mortgage and so on, the car payment. And sometimes our kids don't get to see the real us.
Right.
And it's in talking with our friends, they say, oh, you know, your dad used to do so and so. And you're like,
exactly, I'm going through that now. And in fact, not even that, but something I tell my kids, some of the things I experienced when, you know, back when they were younger. And I would tell them, hey, you're privileged to be getting whatever cereal you want in the mornings and whatever middle class life.
Exactly.
And I would tell them, like yourself, you know, we grew up not middle class,
but we're also happy.
We were very happy.
Yeah.
So now
you have to have that balance.
Right.
Too,
I tell my kids sometimes the things that I had to do, and they refuse to believe me.
Yeah.
They're like, no, Dad, you didn't really do that. You didn't do that.
Because they weren't around,
right?
So they have no kind of concept. How can they wrap their head around this dad?
They can't fathom that, you know, their dad now who seems to be quote unquote successful, and at one point never had light in the house. And so it's a thing for them.
Challenges.
Yeah. But one of the things that I like us to talk to dads about is like, is it okay or is it not okay that you have to apologize? Because I think men in general don't believe that they should apologize to their children for the things that we have now come to see that, you know, I wish I'd done that differently.
Yeah. Well, some of it is a confusion around masculinity, right? What it means to be a man. I was at a funeral yesterday and this gentleman was crying because he was so close to the deceased. And this other one was saying, like, stop it, you're a big man. And I'm like, no. It's a God-given emotion, you know, and he needs to express himself, let him get it out. So
that's interesting right there, because back then we were told not to cry.
Exactly.
How about you? I mean...
Oh, yeah, I grew up knowing all of that, but, yeah.
Did you cry sometimes?
Oh yes, and I still do. You know, sometimes I'm praying for my kids, and that overwhelming thing comes over me. You know, I tell people my children, they're my heartbeat. I have 3 of them, 3 heartbeats.
Yeah.
And it's my go-to place. But back to the thing of apology too. Yes, I think we have to take objective look at the positives in apologizing. What does it mean? What does the outcome look like? And I think once we get that, then it's good, because a lot of times we don't do things because we're afraid, right? And so I know what fear does.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that also impacts or affects our ability to apologize. Yeah, you're not going to be less than.
I apologize. I had to apologize, and it's funny because you know when you apologize, sometimes it is received graciously,
right?
Sometimes it's not,
and that's the fear,
right? But the thing is, a man has to feel it's okay to say to your kids, "Hey, I messed up there, and I'm sorry." And when I did that, and one of my daughters, like, she said, "Dad, thank you." And when she told her friend that, you know, my dad apologized, they were like, "Oh wow, your dad is cool," because their dad would never apologize. Yeah. So there's benefit in that, you know.
And that's one of the things that will make you a good dad.
So and you know, as you said earlier, that there is hope.
Yes.
Because we may have messed up at an earlier phase of our dadhood. Yes. And now we're at a place where and I think too, when your kids start having kids themselves, they now start seeing, oh wow, so now I know what dad went through.
Well, that happened to us.
Yeah.
When we start having kids, we're like, oh, this is what my father went through.
Yeah.
You know, and for years to growing up, you know, I kind of, like all boys, because this father-dad thing is a very interesting relationship.
Well, you grew up with a father.
Yes,
yeah, I didn't. So
okay,
yeah.
So there's a little bit. There's always a power. The power dynamics even increase, or it shows itself at like 16, 17. You're coming in to be a man, and your father said, "No, you're not quite there. You're go now."
Well, you know, as I say, you know, I'm not growing up with a dad. I felt like I did, but it's interesting that you're saying that, because I had to man up on my own based on what my mother would approve of. So your dad was there to say, you know, the man you had kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that went with me and my son. Yeah. I mean, he started thinking like, and I'm like, whoa, you still under my own kind of thing. So,
so there's that conflict at that point. But you have to work it through. And then, as you said, when you become a father now, you say, oh, that is what Dad was going through. And that is what he was trying to teach me. And, you know.
So I'm basing some of the things that we did wrong. Your son... The redemption is going to come when your son becomes the father or your daughter become parents. Oh, you know, I can understand what dad went through, and I can be a little bit easy on him now because...
For sure.
Yeah. Let me ask you though, because as parents we have this high expectation for our children. I mean, I thought my son was going to be a doctor. I thought he was going to be an engineer. It doesn't always go that way. How do you handle that? Because I know your kids are doing pretty well.
You know what? I kind of woke up very early, based on, you know, stuff that I've read and understand that you're there to guide your children and nurture those natural God-given abilities, not to force them into a square peg in a round hole or vice versa. And so, for example, my first girl, when she was doing her undergrad in fine arts, she came to her mom and myself and said, oh, I want to switch program. This is 2 years in the program on Wall Street. And of course, you're seeing dollar signs, right?
Independence.
And so both of us just said to her, look, you don't want to do this, you know, this area of fine arts. She likes event planning. Okay. So we said to her, just finish. And what you do is, you know, do some electives that are related to kind of like marketing, event planning, and so on. And that's what she did. She finished that and she went on to do a diploma in event management. Okay. And now she is like so good in it. You know, she works at the bank, she plans their events and so on. So I think that if you can wrap your head around that, and then just to backtrack to what you say, in terms of your own personal ambition, where you want to see your children go, because I think I kind of had that for my son, to be an architect because he was so good with arts. He had a bachelor's in illustration. But just to understand that they have to pursue, find themselves and what makes them happy. What's the single most important thing we want as a parent? We want our children to be happy. That's it.
Let me ask you this though, because I think even we celebrate Father's Day, it seems to be downgraded compared to Mother's Day. and you know,
I don't think it's downgraded. It's not as celebrated.
It's to be involved, celebrated. So let me ask you this though, because I think that, you know, as successful as a man wants to be as a dad, it's hard to do that alone, and so it requires the help of the mom as well.
Yeah.
How much of a role does the mom play in helping the dad to be the best dad he can be?
I think that she needs to create that space where when there are issues that are better dealt with by dad, she says, Dad, you deal with it. Yes. And have those boundaries. And you don't even have to say it to the kids. You know, some people say, oh, want to talk to your father, go tell your father, that kind of thing. Yeah. But, you know, once she provides that support and, of course, shows respect to her husband or her partner, that's very important, right? Because that's what men look for. We look for respect. Women look for love.
Right. So thank you for talking to us. We're about to wrap this up, but let me ask you one last question here. What would you do differently now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It is what it is. During the pandemic, you know what? We all had that time to reflect. And I was thinking about the past and certain things, and the Lord said to me, the past is the past, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Live in the present, hope for the future.
Wow. Well, thank you, Cyrus. We go a long way.
Yes.
And we became fathers along the way.
Yes.
And
a great job.
Now
one of the greatest jobs ever.
Yeah. One of the wonderful things about being a father is, you know, a godly man.
Yes.
And I think we are at even a later stage, we have incorporated that.
Oh, yes. And our children see it and they know it, right? Yeah, I get it in birthday cards and Father's Day cards all the time, thanking me for, you know, just being spiritual and showing them the way to God. Because,
I like to say we live our lives in phases and stages, and so we've been through that phase. And we became the phase of dad, and then we have now become senior dads, and more godly dads. So with Christ, everything is possible. Amen.
Oh, yeah.
And we hope to our children will copy some of these godly virtues.
And grandchildren.
You're not a granddad yet?
Not yet.
I'll tell you about it.
Yes. Looking
it's
forward.
A redemption stage.
I'm keeping quiet. So I'm slowly observing and, you know, hoping. Yes.
Well, Cyrus, thank you for talking to us on Voices with Lady D.
Yes.
And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you have a great Father's Day.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Enjoy. God bless you. Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me. My name is Clinton Madourie, by the way. I'm a father of 5 biological, and we had 2 adopted. I've been father for 34 years. I have 3 beautiful girls, and I have like 4 boys. Being a father is, in the beginning, was very fearful. When I was told that I was expecting my first, I was so nervous. I didn't know what to do, but I was not trained how to be a dad. It just came naturally. I think fatherhood was meant to be for every man, because, as I said, I wasn't trained. It just came naturally, and being a father, I know to love, but having a child, the Bible says something about agape love. But when I have my first child, that's the real experience of agape love. Having a child, I have that feeling that I would die for them. I would lay my life down for my children. And they're the only people who I would lay my life down for. I'll do anything for them. I've grown to be very proud of my children. Raising them, you know, very challenging, especially when you reach teenage. But I also have a 34 and a 32-year-old, one girl, one boy, and they're no giving me advice. You know what I'm saying? Before I was raising them, giving them advice, but they say it's their time now to guide me. I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm listening to them. If I didn't mention before, I'm from the Caribbean, I'm from Jamaica. You can tell by the accent, the way. Two of them were born in Jamaica. Obviously the two first one. The other three were born here. And it's like blended because the two first one I was married to their mother, but the other three, yeah, they're born in wedlock. However, they're all blessings from the Lord. Doesn't matter how you get your children, God is the one who brought them here. So we have to give thanks and to be proud of them and love them equally. Do not, one advice to fathers, I know in your heart you might have one that is very special to you, but never ever let it be known by the others. Treat them equally. Treat them equally because you don't want to have any kind of enmity between them. They're human beings too, and they will get jealous. So please treat them equally, even though you might have one close to your heart. Okay? And that's my few words for now. Thank you very much.
So, Father Clint, on behalf of Voices with Lady D, thank you for talking to us today. And it's Father's Day we're celebrating. So I know you have just done a little bit about being a dad, and a couple of questions for you. How do you deal with the hard part of being a father?
When you say hard part, what do you mean?
You know, we don't always have it perfect. There are some tough decisions we have to make sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you do about that?
Well, a lot of compromising. It's hard, you know, when my kids were younger, I usually tell them that I'm not worrying about you now. I'm going to worry about you when you're teenagers, because that's when the challenge will come. And it's just like I told them, we're facing the challenge right now. They are much harder to deal with, especially when they think they're 18. Up to 18, they think they reached where they're supposed to be, and they want to, you know, talk back to you. They want to come and tell you, oh, I'm going there without even asking you. They're telling you. So this is very challenging for me.
So I think they're all grown now.
Yeah. So I have to be careful with answers.
And what phase do you think they're grown enough for you to say, okay, do you think? When does that happen?
They have to be 21. 21 is something.
21.
They have to be 21, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And when they start working too, especially. Because sometimes when they're 21, they're still in your house.
Yeah, I was thinking.
They're not working. They're not paying no bills.
Yeah.
You have to give them that sense of responsibility.
How do you do that, the responsibility phase? What some of the things that you do? Tell us, as some of the fathers who are listening, and some pointers you have to help your children to show responsibility.
Okay. I always tell my kids you have to be very punctual. You have to handle your time right. Time management is very important for me and my kids. Try not to be late for nothing. And even your dress, the way you dress, the way you present yourself, it's very important. Strictly because there's kids that want to go out any and anyhow.
You're a very well-dressed man. I mean, do your kids dress the way you dress, or do they think that you're old school kind of thing?
Yeah, they think I'm old school. They think so. They tend to want to dress. They want to buy them suits. I love to wear suits. I buy my boys suits. They wear it once, and then I put it on. I have to be wearing them. They're wear by the same size. You know, their hair, especially the hair that they're wearing nowadays. This is hip style, and they're what Gen Zs. They keep telling me that, Dad, it's different time. I understand. However, the principle of life is the same. It's universal. So we really want to emanate certain principle and certain lifestyle, you know, not that the world is presenting to them, but you know, we're Christian, so we want to have them grow up in that, you know, type of fashion, knowing that, you know, the Lord wants you to be modest in everything you do, especially your dressing. We're talking about dressing right now, so you have to look good in the sight of the Lord. And I teach them to respect people. Doesn't matter who, you respect them, you know, and carry themselves well. Yeah.
This is something that we grew up with back in our days. We learn how to respect people. That seems to be going through the door these days. Young people seem to be not so big on respect.
Well, for my kids, trust me, they're very respectable and respectful to people. And sometimes I find myself falling out of line, and they pull me back.
No.
I say, Dad, you can't say that. That's not the right thing to say, Dad. And I said, okay. Yeah.
So you're one of those dads that give your children permission to kind of rein you in, to kind of say, Dad, you're not on track here?
Yes, because they want you to listen to them too. And you have to remember that they're human. They're little human beings too. So they love when you listen.
You're a modern day dad, because back then many dads then would not have their children even tell them how to do anything.
Well, like my father, he forced things down my throat. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want that. We're not living in the past, you know. So we're, as well, it's their time now, so to speak. You know, we want to train them. We have to guide them in the way they see life right now.
Sure,
back then it was different.
Right.
We didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers. We used to walk to school barefoot. We tell them that there's like, what?
Right.
They don't know what barefoot in the house.
They can't believe it, right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Let me ask you, because for all of us who are dads, we really want to do our best at being dads. We don't always get it right. What role do you think your wife helps you to play in becoming a better dad?
My wife, listen, sometimes I step back to, and sometimes I feel like I'm not part of the teenage. I'm part of the child, because yeah, she includes me in, sometimes she's calling us, she includes me. It's good. Sometimes in the back of my head, I'm thinking that, you know, I want to be on the kids' side.
Right.
You know, listen, sometimes parents compete. They want to be the kid's favorite. I find myself doing that sometimes. But then I catch myself, no, I have to be on the wife's side, because we're trying to raise them together. And I don't want to create a conflict between, you know, us, the family. So we're just trying to, we're not perfect, but we're just trying to build a strong standard in the family.
Right.
And we know in the near future they will be having their own family. So my job is to teach them now, so that they are well prepared when they go out and start.
Thank you for talking to us. Before I go, one last question. I know now that you're a man of God, you serve in the church. How important is that in being a dad?
We serve in the church and being a
Being a Christian, being a man of God.
Well, first of all, my first office is being a father. That's my first and foremost. That's my priority. Working in the church is secondary for me. However, working for God is priority. But working in the church is not necessarily working for God, because when I'm dealing with my children the right way, I'm working for the Lord.
Amen.
That's number one. So it has a balance. It's a balance that out, and you have to distinguish them.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, Brother Ken, you said you're a 35-year-old child. You don't look like you are more than 45 years old. When did that happen?
So, you know, I usually tell my kids I'm not from Earth, but that's a joke.
He's a comedian.
Yeah, but I Actually, I'm 56. And I had my first child when I was like...
Do the math?
Do the math, yeah, I was in my 20s. And the math, I'm not saying anything about that one because
well, you look
it's
good.
on here. It's on here.
You look great.
Yeah. Even my daughter, she's 34. She lives in Brooklyn with her mom. She's a nurse. And then my oldest son, he's 32. He lives in Queens. He's single. And obviously my other 3 kids and the 2 that I adopted, they're home. Yeah, but you know, I try to keep myself, you know, to look this way.
Yeah.
Try to keep up with.
Yeah, you look good. And I just want to end this by congratulating you in also becoming an adoptive dad. That's much respect for you for that.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
You know, it was a challenge. I mean, I don't really did, the challenge that we've been through with, you know, especially with the boy. Actually, he's my wife's nephew. Both of them. The girl is my wife's niece, and the boy is my wife's nephew. They were in the system, and it was time for them to get out of the system and be adopted by somebody.
Right. Well, God bless you for that.
So we stepped in and we decided, you know.
Awesome.
And he's the only child that I know of who could choose his name. He chose his own name. He said, Uncle Clint, can I change my middle name to this name? I said, of course.
Wonderful.
And he changed his name right there.
Well, God bless you. And thank you for talking to us on the Voices of the Lady D. And for good, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Dr. Thomas, thank you very much for speaking to us today on behalf of Voices with Lady D. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for the honor of being with you.
And it's great to call you Dr. Thomas. Tell us a little bit about
That's
that.
something on my birth certificate. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I actually did my doctoral work in ministry, and my specialization is in suicide prevention. I worked with a youth organization for many years and wanted to find answers to the questions youth were asking, and it took me along a path of doing doctoral studies for the sake of understanding the times and knowing what we ought to do.
Great, thank you. And so now we're talking about Father's Day coming up, and we know we are fathers, and you've been through the state of raising little boys into grown, successful men. Tell us a little bit about that.
So my wife and I have 2 sons, and one is going to be 35 this year, and the other one is 32. They are both medical doctors, both married, and both fathers.
So you're our grandfather.
So I'm a grandfather also. Right. But I look back on my journey with them, and I believe, for me, it began with a concept that says we have got to help our children to live balanced life. So Luke 2:52 says, Jesus increased in wisdom, in stature, in favor with God and man. So that is Jesus increased in wisdom, that's mentally, in stature physically, in favor with God spiritually, and favor with man socially. So as we were growing our children, we felt that it was important to grow as Jesus grew. So I wouldn't pull them from basketball because they have an exam, because they needed both tracks. So first of all, we expose them to a balanced life concept. Church, well, spiritually, as I mentioned earlier, physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially, and they grew in that light.
Trying to put a child in the way they should go.
And we have seen them grow and blossom and being able to model that. So I had an idea too when they were growing up, that I had a vision for their own lives. And I would wake them up in the morning and say, mighty men of God arise.
Wow.
So for years, that's the first thing they heard. Mighty men of God arise.
Because life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Words are powerful.
They're powerful.
Today, in their 30s, they are mighty men of God. I even tried that with a young man who came to live with us. And he wasn't taking me on at first, and we were parenting this child. Lived with us for a few years, and I was waking him up, mighty man of God arise. He wasn't taking me on.
but it was seeping into his mind. One day we were running late and I just ran in the room and called him and said, let's go. He turned over in his half-sleep state and said, Uncle Donovan, what happened to mighty man of God? Arise.
Wow.
So even that, so we have to speak the word of faith over our children. The other thing is that I found very helpful is that we have to help them to be men and women of character that reflect godliness. So I took time to affirm their character strengths. So if I send them to the shop, for instance, and they brought up I expect to get my change until I tell them, yes, you can keep that $20 or that $5, whatever the case may be. So, and I would also say thank you for being honest. So the character strength that I wanted to affirm in them, and I looked out for character even above performance.
And that is being played out in their lives even now.
I have a confidence that they are men of God who are living godly lives, who are committed to truth and honesty and positive work ethic and those kinds of stuff. So I see them in operation, and every now and then I get a chance to be around them and to see them as father. So they are hardworking. One of them was involved in medal of the boys champs actually.
Oh,
and he was running up
nice.
the hill one day with us, and a dog was coming, and I was driving up behind him, and I was saying, jump in the car. And the other ones who were sitting beside me said, Daddy is not going to stop running. And I said,
Even the dog behind him.
Even with the dog behind him. And I said, why? And he just said, Daddy, that's not how you train us. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going even with that. And so we have got to help our children to grow through difficulties. And it's from experience we know that ease and contentment don't be character. There's the tough things in life that build character.
So you speak about ease and contentment, because I think us fathers, especially those of us who had a rough time growing up, we want to make it easier for our children. That's not necessarily a good thing.
That's not a good thing, because we're going to spoil them. If anything that comes too easily will also go easily. We have got to help them to earn and grow and give them chores and help them to be able to develop and develop the kind of thing that says, you know what? Life is not a bed of roses. It is Franklin Roosevelt, late President Franklin Roosevelt, who says, a smooth sea never makes a skillful sailor.
So again,
a smooth sea never makes a skillful sailor. It's the tough things in life that are going to help to develop us. And so we have to help them. It's okay for them to go through the hardship. Too many fathers try to bail out their children. They must take responsibility for their own lives, and we have to teach them responsibility from very early, that they grow and know that there are consequences for their action, and that we be responsible as fathers. I think there are 4 things that are very important for us as fathers, and sometimes we miss some of those. One is that we are providers. And we love to provide. We want to give them. And we take pleasure in doing that. And I think that's one of the roles of our father. Our fathers don't want to do that. But there comes a time when they'll have to earn. Okay? Then we are protecting our children from the evils in society, from words, from danger, girls, from men who want to just defile them, or boys from men and women who want to defile them.
Crazy world.
So crazy world. So I am saying father as provider, father as protector, but father as priest over our households, where we're able to come alongside them and be able to be that support, that agent of healing in their lives. And then the other role is father as prophet. So now, and one of the significant things I've learned is that there has got to be a balance in my prophetic role and my priestly role over my children's life, because there are times when I've got to be very prophetic, thus saith the Lord, and I have to be strong and bold and give directive and make some declaration over their lives. But there are also times when I need to be priestly. Says, come son, help me understand what's going on. Oh, help me understand, why are you hurting right now? And to be an ear and to show that heart of compassion and care. So fathers need to be able to ensure that they manage the priestly and prophetic roles carefully to be able to meet the needs in their families and connect.
Thank you. Dr. Thomas, you had a little bit of an advantage there as being some of the tools that you have used to raise your children, your sons. But there are many fathers who didn't have that knowledge, that education base, that spiritual background to go. What do you speak to the father now who is not, say, a spiritual dad like you were, or like I am becoming myself? How do you speak to a father then who doesn't have that background? What does he do?
Well, we want to stress the same things. Balance in life. A child needs balance. We want to say don't spoil the picnic. Do not give the child everything he needs. We want to say affirm and grow character strengths. We want to say teach them to be responsible. We want to say don't bail them out of situations. We want to say love them. And I want to say to fathers, one of the greatest things you can do for your children is to love their mother.
And I'm glad you went to that point, because I was going to ask you, as good a father as you are, and you may have been, and you are, what role does the mother play in helping you to be the best father?
So before I respond to that, I want to say that one of the greatest things that can help our children is to see fathers love and care for their mother, especially in the context of marriage. You know, there's this care and love and relationship and nurtures, so the children get confidence for life as we, But also, there are many times when I have been taught to be a better father behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors, not in front of.
So there are times when I get upset. And my wife was calm me down. Sorry, take it easy. For instance, this little boy refused to take his eye drop. He was a little baby and he needed to get the eye drop, and I'm holding him down and insisting to put it in there. But I was just getting too emotional about it, so my wife had to put it up. But there are several other times when she has brought me behind closed doors to say, Donovan, I don't think you handled that thing right. You could have done this differently. And I was lectured. And now I come out big and strong. So boys, I really have to apologize.
Speaking of apology, I mean, a lot of men don't do that. I mean, tell us about that.
Man, I mean, I have had to apologize to my children. In fact, one of them, I shouted at him, and he just very calmly said, Daddy, please do not shout at me. I don't think I've done
that.
I have not. By the way, he's a psychiatrist now. So I have not shouted at him. And there was a time when I used to use a phrase in the family. I don't even remember what it is now, but it annoyed them. And they just said, Daddy, we don't like when you do. And I just had to say, I'm going to try. See, I don't even remember what the phrase was. I just read it from my mind. So I've had to adjust to be able to meet them at their level. So it's a Chinese proverb that says, if there's somebody over there and you want to get them over here, don't stay over here and call them, but walk over there, hold them by the hand, and walk the path. And I've walked the path with my children. I've been to most of their basketball matches. I have shouted sometimes as the sole father. I remember one of my boys was at university and there was a basketball match and I went there and I was cheering and then I said, Daddy, you're cheering for the wrong team.
Are they Knicks fans?
Yes. Knicks fans. And it's a Father's Day moment. And look at Brunson and his dad. And I thought about that, as I watched that, and I said, wow, what legacy do we leave for our children? I look back on my own journey, and I just see myself in them, and I see my father in me in so many ways. And the older I get, to realize that I'm like my father. And when I'm around them, and I'm seeing them with their children, and I'm there at their home, and the boys are getting up and making breakfast. I am happy that when they were teenagers, everyone had a breakfast day. They made breakfast for the family. There were 4 of them at that time, and 4 children in the house made breakfast for the whole family one morning per week.
Oh, awesome.
And parents did it one day. So we taught them from that to see them now making breakfast for the whole family at home.
Dr. Thomas, as we're about to wrap this up, I mean, there are some of us fathers who didn't get it right. And how do you suggest we repair some of the damages or the things we didn't get right when raising our kids and now that they're grown adults? What do you suggest?
we want to be very honest and to say, you know, there are some things that I could have done differently. If I knew as much then as I know now, I would have done things differently. Sorry for the pain that I have caused you. I want to ask you to forgive me. I help adults so many times to just revisit those times where they have to write letters to their fathers to say sorry. I teach a course on helping people to be happy, and there are always fathering issues. And there are many who have called their fathers to repair the breach. And fathers need to be man enough to be able to apologize. And where you can make adjustments, do it. Be humble. Was it? We didn't get a fathering manual when we became fathers. And even with whatever exposure I had, I learned from others. And there were times when I had to ask other people to help me. Like there were times when I wanted to get something done, but as a father, I was not the best person to be able to get that done. So I came to somebody and said, boy, over there is my son, I'd like to do this, please help me. So I look for the power brokers in my children's lives to be able to do it. And I recognize from early that it takes a village.
Takes a village.
To raise a child.
And we're glad you're in the village today.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, before we go, how do we get someone to talk to you if they need help? As you know, repairing some of these breaches and some of these issues that are just need professional help together.
Lady D, the Voices of Lady D, knows where to find me. But it's CLI USA 2018 at gmail.com. CLI 2018 at gmail.com or 347 833 2444. Choose Life International.
Thomas, it was really great having you. Thank you so much for talking to us for Lady D.
Thanks for the honor.
Happy Father's Day to you.
And to you too.
And I
enjoy.
We will do more of this.
God bless you.
God bless you.